Inside Options is brought to you by the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Manage your risks with Safex style options.
Hello and welcome to Inside Options. I'm James Boardman. Once again, we're taking a detour from the educational side of things on the show, and I'm talking to another successful independent trader, Drew Markson. So Drew, you've been in the markets since 1989. Correct. In the States. Totally different market to ours here, trading some of the same stuff, and you're also in South Africa at the beginning of the commodities markets getting going. The agricultural products division really got going in about 97, 98. Correct. So to show the viewers at home a little bit of what trading in the States is like, we've actually got a clip that we'd like to show you. So here's a clip from a movie called Flawed. It's their sort of promotional trailer of what the movie's about, and we're just going to play that to you guys at home.
The biggest pits in the world are here in Chicago. It's a very competitive environment. Guys would literally look at you and say, "You're a f***ing idiot. I can't believe you do that trade."
Finally, the guy lost his cool, ran over, and bit the guy in the nose.
The motherfucker turns around and cracks me right in the face. A lot of us have come from no education backgrounds, really. I love the trading, but I hate the people.
You need the heavy caliber for those big animals.
The feeling of despair where, oh my God, I've lost everything. I hugged my kids. That kind of kept me going. I was like, I can't just give up now because they're depending on me.
We had as much as 500 people in the pit when I was there in the 80s. Now there may be 50 guys. A lot of the business has gone to electronic trading.
I've seen some of the most successful open outcry floor traders move to the screen and absolutely have zero success.
I hate email. I hate computers. I can't win. I cannot beat the computer. Traders were the kings. The computer boys, we would laugh at them. And they got their revenge.
Drew, we saw some pretty crazy scenes on there. I mean, guys pushing, shoving, shouting. Was it really like that?
It was like that. It brings back a lot of memories. You know, I can remember being pushed in the trading pit. I could remember being spit on in the trading pit, poked with pencils, coming home with pen marks and pencil marks all over my back, losing my voice during a particularly busy day, and you know, most of all, I relived, as I was seeing this clip, a lot of flashbacks of fear and greed that goes through your mind every day when you're in the pits doing this battle.
And I mean, where did you get to your start when you were trading in the States? What exchange were you trading on? What were you trading?
Well, I got my start, basically, I was at New York University, attending university. We went for a class trip during the second semester of my senior year. And I took a look at this trading floor and I thought, wow, this would be a real exciting place to work. Who wants to go directly from varsity, where you know you're living an exciting, outgoing life, to sitting behind a desk right away? Wouldn't it be kind of cool to maybe stop and do an intermediary tour of duty at this place? And so I was hooked on that day at that class trip, basically.
So you were on New York Board of Trade, and what were you mainly trading?
Back then, the first market that I went and became a member of was the Coffee, Sugar, and Cocoa Exchange. Okay. I was mainly trading sugar and coffee options in 1989 on the old Coffee, Sugar, Cocoa Exchange, which you've correctly pointed out is now part of the New York Board of Trade. That was my first market.
Okay, that's really pretty interesting. And then you made that transition, the floor trading. You're one of the guys that movie is sort of very sad about, these big, burly, loud guys who used to be the floor traders, and a lot of them have struggled in that transition from that visceral sort of struggling in the pit with the sort of emotional and noise connection to the trading to the much calmer, quieter sort of screen trading based way of doing things.
True. It is a difficult transition. When you're on the floor, everything takes place just like when you're a little baby, by screaming and shouting. You want something, you yell and scream. It's just like that. The move to the screens, the only element that I have seen that really gets taken away is the in-your-face physicality of it. The same competitiveness, the same feelings of fear and greed are present when you're trading on a screen as when you're trading on the floor. The only difference is it's not really as physical. You're not pushing and shoving someone in front of you. You're not yelling and screaming. You're kind of having a much more laid-back approach. But the fear, the greed, the emotions are still there.
And then you told me about quite a successful trade you did that had something to do with the weather in Florida. How did that trade? What happened there?
Yeah, at the time, this was in the mid-1990s, I was trading orange juice futures and options contracts, of all things, and there was a freeze that came in and started to damage the Florida orange crop. And I had on certain option call positions which would make money if this type of event happened. And it started to happen. And lo and behold, I spent a few enjoyable days making a nice amount of money on this position. And then something very strange happened. The market kind of petered out and stopped rallying. And I remember after 3 days of big, strong moves, all of a sudden the price started coming back to unchanged or declining. Okay. And at first I could not figure this out. And finally a light bulb went on that somebody in the universe knew that something was wrong with this story, and was taking the opposite side of this story, and that
putting a brake on it. It should have kept going up, and that brake came in.
Exactly. Well, the vision that I had at the time was we were trading on the floor, and they had these very smart people that were Florida orange juice producers came to the floor to visit us, and they were very smart, very educated, wealthy people. They flew up in their own jets. They were smart traders.
Yeah.
And my vision was that this guy was out on his patio with one of these old-fashioned cell phones, knew the whole thing was nonsense, was phoning his broker in New York telling him, sell, sell, sell. And as soon as I detected that, I thought, you know what, why don't I take some of the money that I made in the last few days and bet with this guy by buying put options.
So you rode it all the way up on the fear there would be a freeze.
Correct.
You realized, because it didn't keep going up there, obviously someone knew somewhere that there probably wasn't as bad a freeze as you'd feared. Sure. You rode it all the way back down.
Exactly. I went from being confused when the market went to unchanged to lower to all of a sudden a light bulb went on, and I was like, oh wow, I know what's happening now. And you know what? Let's take some of the profits I made in the last few days and let's risk it, because I think I'm in sync with what's going to happen in Act 2, which would be a decline.
That's awesome, Drew. So you rode it all the way up, all the way down. So
that's correct.
We've got lots more to hear from Drew, so stay tuned. We'll be back right after this break.